Hello everyone, this is me Pooja Training from Rehan AI Teachers Training Base 21. I hope you all are doing well. Today I am going to talk with ChatGPT about how to set boundaries in relationships and stay true to yourself. So let's start our conversation. I am adding here ChatGPT. Hello GPT, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking. How about you? How's everything going?
Yes, I am glad and everything is going very perfect and very smoothly by the grace of God. And thank you so much, ChatGPT, for asking about me.
I'm really happy to hear that. And you're very welcome. I'm always here if you need anything or just want to chat. What's been on your mind lately?
Yes, today I want to talk with you about how to set boundaries in relationships and stay true to yourself.
That's a really important topic, and I'm glad you want to discuss it. Where would you like to start? Maybe what kinds of boundaries you've been thinking about or how to actually put them into practice?
Yes, first of all, tell me that what does setting healthy boundaries in a relationship mean to you?
Yeah, of course. For me, setting healthy boundaries is really about knowing and communicating what you need, whether that's time, emotional space, or respect, so that both people feel safe, valued, and heard. It's really about balance, giving and receiving in a way that honors yourself.
Okay, so what do you think that why are these boundaries important for maintaining self-respect?
Yeah, that's a great point. Boundaries really help you protect your sense of self. When you know what you're okay with and you communicate it, you're showing yourself and others that you're worthy of respect. Without them, we can start feeling drained or taken for granted. So they're really a form of self care.
Okay, okay. So if someone have emotional and physical limits in its relationship, that how they can identify it?
That's a really key question. I think it often starts with paying attention to how you feel. Like, do you feel drained, anxious, or maybe physically uncomfortable in certain situations? And once you notice those cues, you can pause and set a limit, like deciding what you will or won't engage in. It takes practice, but it gets clearer with time.
Okay. Okay, can you please tell me about some common signs that your boundaries are being crossed?
Absolutely. Some common signs might be feeling resentful or overwhelmed, constantly overextending yourself, or feeling like you can't say no without guilt. You might also notice your needs being sidelined or you feel pressure to conform to those expectations. It's all about tuning into those emotions.
Okay. Okay, if someone have a poor boundaries, then how can it affect his mental and emotional well-being?
Yeah, it can have a really big impact. Poor boundaries often lead to stress, burnout, and even anxiety or depression because you're not honoring your own needs. Over time, it can really erode your sense of self and leave you feeling kind of disconnected or unfulfilled.
Okay, that's great. Okay, tell me about some effective ways to communicate boundaries clearly and respectfully.
Yeah, for sure. One effective way is to be direct but kind. Use I statements like I feel or I need, so it's about your experience. Also, be consistent, keep your boundaries simple, and be prepared to continue to repeat them if needed. And of course, stay calm and confident when you express them.
All right. Okay, how can you say no without feeling guilty in a relationship?
That's a tough one, but it helps to remind yourself that saying no doesn't mean you're rejecting the person. You're just protecting your own well being. You can be
Exactly.
polite but firm. Exactly. And it's okay to keep it simple. You don't have to over explain. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes, and you'll start to feel more comfortable asserting yourself.
Yes, you are right that saying no is very hardest, but it doesn't mean that we are rejecting someone. But there might be some issues behind it to say no, or some reasons due to which we answer people with no. But it doesn't mean that we are rejecting. You are totally right.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's so important to remember that your boundaries are valid and you have the right to say no without overthinking it. It really is an act of self respect, and the right people will understand that.
Correct. Okay, ChatGPT. My next question is regarding to self-awareness. What do you think that what role it play in setting and maintaining our boundaries?
That's a great connection. Self awareness is really the foundation. When you know yourself, your needs, triggers, and values, you can set boundaries that align with who you really are. And that self knowledge also makes it easier to recognize when a boundary is being crossed.
Okay. Okay.
Exactly. And no problem. If you have any other questions about self awareness or boundaries or really anything else, just let me know. I'm here for it.
No, you have cleared me about self-awareness role. So I have no any other question in my mind right now regarding to it. So my next question is that when someone don't respect our boundaries, then how can we handle this situation?
That's a tough situation for sure. I think the first step is to calmly and clearly restate your boundary again, just as a reminder. If they still don't respect it, you might need to take a step back from that relationship or limit your contact. And remember, you have every right to protect your peace, even if it's hard.
Okay. Okay, can you please tell me about some strategies that can help us to stay true to values while in a relationship?
Absolutely. One key strategy is to regularly check in with yourself. Ask if your needs are being met. Another is to practice self affirmation, remind yourself of your worth. And also keep communication open. Make sure you're expressing your feelings honestly and listening to yourself as much as you listen to others.
Okay. What do
I'm
you
glad
think
that makes sense.
about?
Yeah, go ahead. What were you thinking about or what's on your mind? I'm here to listen and help.
Yes, I have a question in my mind regarding to cultural and family expectations. What do you think that how can it influence our personal boundaries?
That's a really important factor. Often, cultural and family expectations can create a lot of pressure to put others first, even at the expense of your own needs. So, it's really crucial to recognize those influences, name them, and then intentionally decide which expectations you'll honor and which ones you need to protect yourself from.
Okay, so you mean that our cultural and family expectations have a huge role in our boundaries, is it?
Exactly. Yeah, they can shape a lot of our assumptions about what we should do or how we should behave. So, being aware of that lets us decide consciously which parts align with our values and which ones we might need to adjust or set firmer boundaries around.
Okay. Can you please tell me something about healthy boundaries and emotional walls and what is the difference between both of them?
Yeah, definitely. Healthy boundaries are those clear, respectful limits you set so you protect your time, energy, and values. Emotional walls, on the other hand, are more like barriers you put up out of fear. Sometimes they protect you, but they can also keep you isolated. So, healthy boundaries are about balance and connection, while emotional walls are more about defense and distance.
Tell me that how can we rebuild boundaries after they have been regularly ignored?
Yeah, that can be really tough, but it's possible. First, start by reaffirming your own needs. Get clear on what you want and deserve. Then communicate those boundaries again, calmly but firmly. It also helps to enforce consequences. So if a boundary is crossed, you take a step back or limit engagement. It might take some repetition, but over time, people do learn to respect them again.
ChatGPT, tell me that how does maintaining boundaries contribute to a balanced and healthy relationships?
Yeah, absolutely. When you maintain boundaries, both people know what to expect, so there's less confusion or resentment. It creates a sense of safety, respect, and trust, so both people can be themselves and feel valued. And that balance really supports long term connection.
Okay, okay. I have remaining only one question. Last question, that is, what steps can you take to ensure you don't lose your identity while being committed to someone?
That's such a vital question. I think one key step is staying connected to your own passions and interests, things that are just yours. Keep checking in with yourself, how you feel, what you value, and make sure you carve out space for your own growth, even within the relationship.
Okay, okay, ChatGPT, thank you so much for giving such beautiful answers to my question, and increase my knowledge about the boundaries and relationship and how work well. So thank you so much for being here with me to give me such valuable knowledge. Goodbye and take care.
You're
Okay, guys, so this was my today's session with ChatGPT where we discussed that how we can set boundaries in relationship and stay true. So I hope that you all enjoy this session and get much more knowledge from here and keep growing and keep learning and stay connected with me for new upcoming sessions. Inshallah, I will meet you in another session. Till then, Allah Hafiz.